Welcome back, guys. We are here at the LCK 2020 for Spring, as it is coming down to the wire here for DAMWON Gaming up against KT. It's been a long, drawn-out second game that actually, it looked like KT was nearly able to come back in, but the draft and the composition looked a little bit too strong from the side of DAMWON on blue side. So a lot to go back to the drawing board with and to reconsider going into game number 3, Ellis.
Yeah, and game number 3, we're going to really pay close attention to the draft because it is so important in this series, it seems like, as Showmaker does end up getting player of the game. Valdez did defect and vote for the Ornn.
Yeah.
So that will bring the point score for him to 400. Let's take a look here. Managed to clip Tushin there at the very end, gave Nuguri the opening that he needed for the superplex. Nuguri eventually ended up getting brought down inside of this highlight, but we shall take a look at what else can end up transpiring. As you see that Valorous arrow, that is what sniped the Sejuani triple kill for Ornn inside of that team fight. He's just so tanky, and no one on the side of KT can deal damage to him. So it was just really doomed. Remember, this Ornn also had one Mountain Dragon inside of him, as well as an Ocean Soul. He's just never dying.
Yeah, I mean, he's very tanky. Oh. Oh, you guys can't see it on the screen, but LS was the one vote that did not vote for Ornn. So, who's defecting to where on this broadcast is the real question. Yeah, every single other person did vote for, of course, Showmaker, and it's it's funny too because you called him a tank, but actually he was I think he had the most kills on his team, and he was 1v1ing quote unquote carries. So I'm not sure what the definition of tank is anymore in this game. Well,
Ornn is one of the few tank assassins that League of Legends actually has, so it's very interesting. And very fun to see him inside of the games, as we are going to jump into game number 3 in just a second here. DAMWON now is going to be back on the red side. So let's see what they can do to make use of the counter pick.
Yeah, that is going to be the question. I feel like game 2, the draft was kind of a disaster for KT. I think when there's Ornn and Set available, you don't want to just let them both go. Generally not advised, I would say. And now they're on red. I mean, they looked a lot more comfortable to pick and ban on red, so maybe they'll have a bit easier of a time, as their comp in game 1 was obviously much better.
Philios is going to be banned away by DAMWON. KT now banning the Zoe and the Silas. Those are the first two to bite the dust, as DAMWON now, will they just ban the Senna Ornn? As Senna does bite the dust here.
Yeah, we did see Kalista, obviously in game number 1 for aiming, was really the talk of the town for that game. You would have to imagine they're still going to ban Ornn over Kalista, but they might hesitate for a bit, and they're not going to ban either. So they say, if you want to take Kalista, we'll take Ornn, although that is what happened in game number 1 at the same time. And I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen once again here for game 3.
And there it is, the immediate trade-off. And now will DAMWON do something a little bit different? Well, it's going to be the Kaisa immediately getting picked up. KT now, what are they going to pair this with? Now, you know that Ornn is a super hard engager. Bono going to go back to his tried, true, and tested Olaf. And so what I was about to say is, are they going to go back to a defensiveness and gravitate towards basically raw disengage and things of that nature with the Taric Kalista? It's one of the premier bot lanes right now. But they end up picking up the Olaf. And now DAMWON immediately responding with a Trundle for a vacuum counter.
Yeah, it feels like LCK's favorite counter pick to Olaf. Trundle has been picked 10 times. I'd imagine probably 9 of those times were against Olaf, and maybe 1 against Sejuani or something like that. So it's kind of the LCK way, the LCK fashion, and probably played a lot in that fashion in other regions. But either way, we do have that picked up, and of course the Kalista Taric comes in once again. I like this little change where they leave LeBlanc open and they take away the Kennen. They're really trying to pressure Sowan into playing something else. He's looked most comfortable onto Kennen in recent times.
And it's really surprising, given that Sowan is a mechanical player. If you look at his solo queue IDs over the years, I mean, he's one of the Korean Rivens. For whatever, take that as you will, but he definitely has an affinity for mechanical champions, so it's always very strange to see him sometimes gravitate towards these champions like the Kennen. So let's see what he pulls out here. Now, again, we could see him maybe pilot the Kalista in top lane. There's always the chance that she is flexed up there, and then KT could maybe try to get a stronger matchup down in bottom, but now Nico being hovered.
We saw BDD have some luck on that champion.
Nope.
Yep, so on. He likes Kennen and he likes Aatrox.
Okay, well.
And that's it. That's
We're here again.
Got. Yeah.
Aatrox is locked in for KT. He doesn't actually beat Ornn. He only beats Ornn when the Ornn player is not good. And Rumble now being hovered. And locked in. So it is going to be the Aatrox with Rumble. And so that will be Soan piloting that, most likely up in top lane. I mean, I suppose there's a chance that you can see Aatrox go mid, but probably not very likely. As Akali is being hovered and going to get locked in. So this is going to be Showmaker, most likely going back to the Akali. It's one of the champions he was known for on his rise to dominance as a mid laner in the LCK.
Yeah, and we'll see if he does. I mean, you would have to imagine that it is Showmaker on the Akali, but it could be the opposite, as that's what they're hovering for now. On the side of KT, you would imagine that the Rumble is going to go mid. We'll see how it does end up, and in fact, they are going to put Nuguri onto the Akali, and Showmaker back onto that Ornn. I suppose he enjoyed game number 2.
And so, having Ornn in mid lane does give him a bit more access to roams, given that he can either go top lane or bot lane with his Ram. It's a little bit surprising, though, that they wouldn't just want to have Nuguri up there on the Ornn and then maybe initiate a lane swap just to guarantee that Showmaker would be the one piloting the Akali. And it's not that Nuguri can't play Akali. Nuguri is one of the best top laners in the world and definitely capable of piloting her. It's just one of those special picks for Showmaker. And so he will have the leg up in top lane against Soan. Olaf versus Trundle inside of the jungle. Now, people are probably wondering, well, who won this draft? And this is one of the closer ones, all things considered. I do feel like, though, KT did get the leg up.
Yeah, and, that's not to be unexpected, I suppose, at this point, as they certainly looked a lot more comfortable picking and banning on the blue side once again, as they did in game number 1. And here we go once again. We'll have to wait and see if aiming can pop off as hard as he did in game number 1, if Soan can look as solid as he did on the Kennen in both attacking and escaping as he did in game number 1 here for the Aatrox. And Tucson just going to move forward. This Rakan pick we didn't talk about all too much. Of course, it's not Xayah down in the bottom lane, and they wanted to go for something that can engage, and they decided, well, let's go for the Rakan.
Well, let's see what DAMWON's going to manage to do with it. Beryl going to have a lot of responsibility on him to sort of tie up and lock down champions on KT inside of the teamfight. Scorch on the Rumble again. I really don't know why we see it as often as we do. At the break point of 10 minutes, I believe Gathering Storm just starts out scaling it. So it's specifically for a laning phase, and what I would mostly ask a lot of people to do is go through VODs, go through replays of high-level gameplay, and really look at what this rune is doing, and then ask yourself if it can or can't be played around. Now, sometimes, yes, you do get a solo kill, or maybe you win a 2v2, but more often than not, it doesn't do a whole lot, and especially against a lane opponent like Warren, it's a little bit peculiar, because you're not going to kill him, and he's not going to kill you.
Yeah, and that's, it really, you know, we've talked a lot about Scorch, and I'm also kind of in that boat where, unless it's solo queue, where you're really trying to outplay someone in a lane and look for solo kills over and over, it doesn't really seem like a good idea. And, I mean, we can even observe in this game exactly how it's going to go in that mid lane. You know, he's going to chip away at Showmaker's health, and Showmaker's going to build items, and then eventually he's going to go back and TP back to lane and be totally fine. He's got biscuits. And, yeah.
I mean, he's going for a full clear here. It seems like he recognizes that there's no real responsibility for him to do anything. Kuro could die here. Flashes away. And he'll probably just harpoon these last minions here. And now down flash, he will have to respect the pillar from Canyon. But in doing so, Canyon, he revealed himself. He showed the exact amount of CS that he had. Bono full clearing on the Olaf, probably going to make his way towards the right-hand side Scuttle Crab, and he's doing this because Aiming and Tushen have the priority in bot lane. He knows that if Trundle tried to come over to the right-hand side, it would just be disastrous, and now, I mean, it's even looking like they might try to make a dive happen.
Well, they've got Bono in position now, as already the flash comes out there. Looked pretty early from Beryl. Maybe he got stunned up and panic flashed or something, but after the flash came through and the cleanse out of nuclear, you could see that both Kuro and Bono just say, okay, that's fine. We got the wins. We're just going to back away after that.
And so as a byproduct of this, Olaf slows down his clear speed inside of the jungle. This actually lets Trundle recover a bit. Gets onto the left-hand side, picks up that left-hand side Scuttle Crab. Olaf recalls now into double control ward with Red Smite. And 45 seconds until the Infernal Dragon is going to be picked up. Bono going to go back into power farming. Canyon, I don't know what he's expecting or where he would be expecting Bono to be. He does have the priority from mid lane. Via Showmaker, Canyon's going to hit this Scryer plant, see Bono, and then end up recalling. And so Bono probably just going to full clear now. He's going to do Gromp, Wolves, Wraiths, go down into Golems, and then maybe even look to start up the Infernal Dragon. So it's a really easy life when all of your laners are basically able to just sort of go even and not have anything to worry about. The issue, though, is that he's not achieving a whole bunch like this, but it's fine given that you have a Kalista, you have a Rumble, you have an Aatrox against 4 melee champions.
Yeah, absolutely. And not too much action to start off this one. Just kind of chilling out here. Aiming has been quite aggressive in the bottom side. That's one thing we've noticed. Soan has taken some decent trades against Nuguri, but you can see that, of course, it is going Nuguri's way for the majority of this. Going to miss those chains. And so can't quite follow up on that play or anything like that. Yeah, junglers are just chilling. They're clearing their camps as extremely fast as okay. Gonna get that flash onto Nuguri here. He does not want to use that flash of his own, but now he's going back in and he's gonna let himself die as Soan is able to pick up the first blood. He had flash. He could have walked away, but he went right back into that one and ends up essentially taking his own life as he goes down. But KT are also going to pick up the Infernal.
I have no idea what Nuguri was just doing right there. And now with the Infernal Dragon so unable to recall, he picks up the Hex Drinker. So much value against DAMWON's team composition. And now Nuguri, even after finishing that entire wave, he's still level 6, so Soan a bit into level 7, and level stats can't really be ignored. Akali going Seeker's Arm Guard, first item, gonna get that item stacked up. Let's take a look at this replay one more time. So Q2 hits on Aatrox, flash Q, and then the auto. Honestly, I think Soan thought he dealt more damage than he did. World Ender cast, and then I just have no idea what.
Just got autoed to death.
So let's take a look at this. You can see he tried to input that command, gets level 6, casts the World Ender, and then everyone in the house. I don't know if that's a backhanded compliment or what.
They like go wild because he solo killed him.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Nuguri was thinking. Maybe he thought the dash was on cooldown, but even then, like, I don't think you're gonna get that kill. It just didn't seem very likely at all. So
DAMWON are really far behind right now, and the way that their champions are itemizing doesn't help them that much either. Akali's items are gonna really be stunted now inside of this game, because the Seeker's Arm Guard, it has value against the Aatrox, has value against the Callista, but Akali's not going to get the Gunblade when she wants it. Everything else is just going to be slowed down and delayed. Whereas the Aatrox, with the Hex Drinker, such insane value against 4 of the champions on the side of DAMWON, and even Canyon, because Subjugate deals magic damage. So the resistances, even against the Trundle ult, still going to be really valuable. Infernal Dragon bolstering their stats, Ocean Drake coming up next, and if you're a KT fan, you probably want to roll Mountain at this stage of the game, because that would really cripple DAMWON's chances to do anything, and it would make it all on Kaisa to try to carry.
Yeah, I think that Cloud Drake here, or Cloud Soul, would be pretty negligible. I mean, you've got like an Equalizer, Fate's Calling, there are some, but obviously the Mountain is going to be much better, and you talked about crippling, especially against an Akali that's already behind. Imagine building resistances and then getting Mountain Soul. She's not going to be able to do much, to say the least. And so they'll be hoping for that, but as it stands now, just a small lead in terms of the gold. This top lane, of course, Soan is going to slowly catch up in the CS now that he's got a nice little item advantage. The mid lane, still not much happening. Would have been nice to, you know, get your first Gathering Storm proc here at 10 minutes as a Scorch, you know. Hasn't changed the state of this mid lane. You see Ornn has 3 biscuits. But I suppose we've mentioned that enough at this point, as everywhere else on the map is kind of, you know, just kind of taking it easy. Aiming and Tucson have been able to slowly open up a lead of about 18 CS. So they've also got that going for them.
Well, we'll see how everything else keep transpiring here in this game. We are in a bit of a lull state, Valdez. That we are. Now, Valdez, I want to direct your attention to the fact that you do need to get a Switch.
What?
Okay, you do need to get a Nintendo Switch.
You know, I've thought about it a lot, and there have been times where I got really close, where I was like almost even in the store. But we're gonna have to talk about what's in store here for Showmaker, as he's able to Ragnarok through that one, but Showmaker on the Ornn, of course, with such grace and beauty. Ornn has so much mobility, even in that large package. He's able to get away, and he does have to flash, of course, to help out his escape, but the gank does not amount to too much here in the mid lane.
Well, that was not really the most exciting thing that just could have transpired here inside of this game. Aiming, trying to make it onto Beryl, does have the Fate's Call available, chunking him as much as he possibly could and lead up to this fight. Bono over here, getting the Raptor camp. ends up dinging level 8, and so this is going to be a jungler level advantage. Not that it probably is going to influence all that much. It is still something to bring up. Aatrox here with the World Ender available. Coming down, they're going to summon the Rift Herald. There is all the turret plates in mid lane that are ready to just go the way of KT. And also if they can get any... okay. So, I believe that the Herald turret plate leash range, I think is 2,000 or it might be 2,500 range. So, if you recently tapped the turret, you're able to maintain the leash on it for 2,000 or 2,500 range.
It looks like it only went on to Bono, though. That was...
Yeah, that was very strange.
Yeah, I don't know. Looked weird. But either way, Sohan able to zone away Nuclear by himself. Nuguri really trying to get into that backline. It is going to go the way of the Olaf. Fate's Call is going to save that support who gets in the front and stuns up a couple of them. Nice knock up here from Showmaker trying to turn this one around. He's able to bop down Bono as Showmaker nearly able to make it happen on the Ornn, as that champion is unbelievably strong, as you guys can see in this fight, but he's not going to be able to carry by himself, as another 2 kills are going to go the way of this Kalista for aiming.
Yeah, and it does look like Nuguri is trying to bite off a little bit more than I think he can chew right now, and with every single one of these fights slowly going more and more into KT's favor, things are just getting really disastrous. Take a look, World Ender trying to zone off Nuclear as well as Nuguri, taking him essentially out of the fight. He has to use the Akali ultimate defensively. Beryl barely manages to get out right there. Olaf, I mean, let's be honest, he doesn't really do a whole bunch. Trying to run in, deal damage, getting everyone low. Kuro finally ended up clearing out Canyon inside of the brush before allowing Aatrox to come in and assist with Beryl, but 2,000 gold lead, or a little bit over 2,000 gold lead now for KT, and they did roll the Mountain Dragon.
Oh,
so
boy.
KT is in a really, really comfortable spot inside of this game. Magical Boots even for Olaf finally in effect. I believe he's going to be going Black Cleaver. And so that'll help the Kalista as well as the Aatrox deal a little bit of damage, although Aatrox probably going to build a Black Cleaver of his own.
We've got a little bit of poke damage here on a Sohan, but it's just because of that lane swap. Bono going to be in position here to zone away Canyon. He's actually going to Ragnarok. He's going 1v1. Sohan going 1v2 up on the top side, but easily able to get in there is the Kaisa, of course, as down will go Bono. I feel like he just saw blood. Meanwhile, he could have easily just backed away, but the TP came in from Nuguri as well, and he wasn't really able to get out of dodge at that point. At the same time, bottom side, the turret goes down for KT. They're going to hold on to the lead that they do have, as now at least the Rift Herald will be focused down here for the side of DAMWON. Let's see if KT want to collapse in here. Looks like they really do want to. Sohan in position, doesn't have World Ender. Of course, no steal is going to happen. And now they're reconsidering it here as the Ornn ultimate going to come in. Nice equalizer, but it's not going to matter. Double knockup for the Rakan, but he immediately gets melted as Showmaker. He gets a couple of knockups himself, but it just does not matter as now everybody was funneling into that jungle, and KT just took huge advantage of it, able to zone out with the equalizer. Can Sohan get this one?
What?
Why didn't he just auto?
He did get, you know what, I think that he was actually influenced by Ezreal syndrome right there, and so he actually pressed the Q.
Press Q instead. Oh, man. That's that feels bad, man. I mean, KT still dominated that fight as DAMWON just, you know, I don't know.
Oh, man. Well, KT, I mean, they're just so far ahead. We're going to take a look at that team fight one more time right now, as this is how it all starts. Okay, Bono, he comes up to sort of help out with whatever he can, but Olaf, he just doesn't deal any damage. He ends up just sort of whacking Canyon, dealing quite a bit, and so it starts off with DAMWON having a pretty good thing, but they wanted to just give away their lives over second Rift Herald that basically serves no purpose. So, very eager to do that, Beryl jumps in, immediately gets the knockup, and everyone on the side of KT is really tanky and durable. Nuguri loses all of his life, not shortly after. Nuclear ends up going down, getting stunned by the Taric as well. So don't want to go is DAMWON probably for the next couple of minutes. They're very far behind.
They don't want to go over to the east side of this LCK standings bracket, but they might be forced to if they lose this one. And you know what? I can understand what they were thinking. You know, we have a lot of full health members. We have the Ornn. Maybe we can knock up, 3 guys in that close proximity. And the Taric looked at a position, but immediately a bunch of things happened. The Equalizer actually did a better job of zoning. Rumble was able to do his combo and have the Flame Spitter finally spat that one out, going as he was getting knocked up. And Trundle wasn't even able to get into the fight. He was totally zoned out. He was on the top side of the jungle there and ended up doing absolutely nothing. So it just did not matter that Ornn was able to get some of those knockups in there. And so another fight goes the way of KT, and now they're going to turn their attention here onto the Mountain Drake, and DAMWON is just going to let it go.
And so Olaf just got 3 MR and 5 armor, which it's not a lot, but he also hasn't built any resistances yet, and he's going to start doing so later. So Aatrox has the Hex Drinker, going to get also Boots soon, get a little bit of resistances there. Everything is going to start adding up, but also Mountain Soul is now being threatened. The game is now at Soul Point, and so DAMWON, they have a really big problem on their hands. Take a look at Akali's build. We talked about this really early on when she fell behind and then she had to build Seekers first. She's sort of Build-A-Bear workshop right now. She has a little bit of everything, and it's not working out. And even when she completes it, she barely has any pen. She barely has anything else going for her. So chewing through the Mountain Drake shield and then trying to bite through the resistances, it's going to be impossible for her. She's going to be a non-factor in the fights. Trundle is full-on tank. What is he going to be doing? Ornn, I mean, he is a tank. Now, he's a tank assassin, but assassins don't like Mountain Drake. So, it's basically the Kai'Sa show. The Kai'Sa is so far removed from this game, nothing's going to be achievable.
Yeah, I mean, Kai'Sa's not going to be able to do it herself. And we've seen what a Kalista can do when given room and given a lead. And that was up against a comp that had much more CC and ability to dive backlines than the one that DAMWON has, if you can believe it. And yeah, I mean, Kalista's not as fed as she was in that game, but I feel like the same feeling stands for where aiming is in this one. Plus, he's got 2 other members who are just as fed, if not more, on the side of Sowon and Kuro, of course. So the Rift is their oyster at this point, and they say, how about top side? Wait, no, we don't want to give up anything. Let's move mid and try not to miss this. DWG, on the other hand, they did pick up Shirley, so don't forget about that. They're going to push down here on the bottom side, and that is one thing that KT will have to actually give up.
Yeah. DWG just trying to basically scale into the later stages of the game. Ornn is level 12, but remember, this is the patch where Ornn was nerfed. Does have to wait until 13 until he gets those added resistances. The Andre's Torment already built on Kuro. We'll see what his second item is actually going to be. Has 2.5 minutes until Mountain. So, if you're KT, all that you do right now is actually nothing. You do literally nothing. Aatrox probably could have froze down in bot lane, but we don't talk about that word. That's a forbidden word here.
Well, Taric has his ultimate, so he'll just be able to respond to your aiming. In a rough spot, though, is going to get jumped on here and immediately burst down as Kai'Sa finally looks like she was able to do something, but immediately gets flashed on herself. As the Flame Spear, yeah, does incredible damage. I mean, this is what I was talking about. Aiming is fed, yes, but Kuro is like, while you use literally everything to kill our 80 carry, fine, I'll just kill you all. I'll burn you all down. And that's exactly what he was able to do. And yeah, it turns into a 3-for-1 as DWG thought they found an opening. We'll see if, yeah, there is Smite available here, but he doesn't have Flash, so not able to actually get into the pit. And down will go the Baron at 20 minutes, 40 seconds.
Yeah, and take a look at this one more time. Showmaker summons the Ornhorn, goes in onto aiming. Taric ultimate comes out. They cast a pillar, but Canyon's still a little bit preoccupied with the Raptor. Taric ultimate is there. Everything comes out in this team fight. Sowon able to just do so much, wrapping up Nuguri. takes him out of the fight completely. Ring around the Rosie at Baron Nashor. And this game is, it's all but over. 1 minute until Mountain Soul comes up. Nuguri has to flash.
Yeah. He's not able to vault to that wall just yet, outside of using that flash, and now he's not going to have it for the next fight. Of course, the World Ender did have to be used as well, but it's not really that long of a cooldown. It's already almost halfway to being available. And just like that, you take away that assassin that wasn't even doing much up until now. KT just looking to clear out as much vision in this jungle and zone away DAMWON so they can pick up the soul, because we've seen so many games like this before. The team that's ahead gets extremely far ahead when they pick up a good soul. And Mountain Soul against this team, you're going to be feeling pretty good.
Yeah, Mountain Soul against this team is going to be absolutely fantastic. They're going to get it. 5 seconds until it ends up spawning. You can see Olaf already in close proximity. And Callista probably going to be getting Bloodthirster as the next item, so even more shields for the enemy to try to chew through. What? You never played solo queue before, or what?
He doesn't even have, like, a teammate. He's got Cinder Hulk, yeah, but, like, I mean, like, what? How fast is he gonna push? Like, okay. He's just like, this is what happens in solo queue, where you get out of position and you're like, well, I'm not able to do anything, so I might as well just split push. And it looks just as silly as that did, so Canyon finally able to get back here. Of course, the Trundle, he's melee, he's behind. He's not going to be able to do too much against this push. He has 0 wave clear. And KT just say, get the hell away from our inhibitor. We are going to take it down, and you got to go back to base.
And now they're going to rotate to bot lane. They're going to tap that minion wave with the Baron buff. They're going to raise this tier 3 turret as well. They're going to get the inhibitor. And I mean, once a team fight ends up breaking out, it's just going to be a complete disaster if DAMWON do try to pull the trigger. If they don't pull the trigger here, KT's probably just going to back up and reset. They might take away the blue buff as well as the wolves. And then recall, that was a World Ender cast.
Yeah, he's got to go fast. You know?
He's got a hot date.
Sanic.
Yeah.
He's got to do what he's got to do.
Did you just say Sanic?
Sonic. Sanic was like the meme version, you know, like the weird looking one.
Ah, yes, quite. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Valdez.
Yeah. And, well.
Well.
Okay.
Take a look at this. Now, play-by-play it for me.
Yeah, he's dead.
That was it?
He did not go fast. That's all I got to say. He went quite slow.
Okay. Great.
Slow guy.
You know the new Pokemon games come out soon.
Yeah.
All the more reason to get a Switch.
Okay. Yeah, I might. I've been saying that. I've been saying that since the Switch came out. By the way, this like same story has been going on for quite a long time. It's like, you know, I might get it soon.
Yeah.
Maybe sometime eventually. Yeah, you wanna break down this replay for me?
Well, yeah, I'll break it down for you. So basically, what happened is Nuguri walked up and then he died, and immediately thereafter, the members on KT recalled.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not trying to brag or anything.
Yeah.
I am a bit of a color caster. So.
Yeah, coach, by the way.
Yeah,
analyst,
content
by the
creator.
way. Yeah. Well, I guess color caster's better because it has C's. Canyon, he's having a rough time in this game. That Trundle, really good into the Olaf early, and then once you get behind, it really does nothing.
Yeah, let me analyze what's about to happen. KT are actually going to walk forward, and then in a combination of Q, W, E, R, and D, and F, they will actually kill the DAMWON Gaming champions, thus resulting in the capture of the Nexus.
Yeah, you know, they might even mix in enter GG space easy. Enter.
I will forward you my build.
Stopwatch, pretty good item there as Kuro's going 1v2, and the rest of the team is trying to dive in here. Kuro actually getting pretty low, is going to have to hop out of this one, but Nuguri is going to be plopped on there by the Aatrox, has a Zhonya's of his own. Lots of low health bars on the side of DAMWON, but nobody really going down as Kalista desperately going to flash forward and try to hunt down whoever remains, as it is just going to be the Ornn, but we all know that he doesn't die. As down will go the Nexus, it looks like KT is going to be able to take the 2-1 victory over DAMWON tonight, as that third game goes down in 26.5 minutes. Another fast game this time around as KT were able to dominate. Yeah, and KT, they are continuing their winning streak. They are really getting a second wind, and I think a lot of it stems from the fact that the solution was to actually get excited all along. Yeah, you know? Remember game 1 where I was getting really excited? Yeah, and then everybody doubted me in game 2. Exactly. So that is exactly what is going on here. As DAMWON, we always heard about their scrim gods, but doesn't look like they exist here. Okay, does not look like there was any light of scrim gods, because honestly, I think that they performed a bit worse in the showing today. Game number 2, I feel like a lot of people might have said that they looked really good. I would argue that it was pretty hard not to look good with that opening and then the team composition. I think a lot of teams could look really good from that standpoint, and so it doesn't really capture a lot of the problems DAMWON is having as a team that so consistently shows itself in all their other series if you go back and look. Yeah, and it's going to be a problem that they have to fix soon, because we have, you know, with today, we actually have started round 2 of the spring split, so we're already over the halfway mark. You're running out of time to fix stuff, as I believe with this win, KT should challenge the west side of the bracket. It was only a 2-1 victory, so of course we will have to see exactly what does happen in terms of the standings a little bit later on. Of course, guys, even though we are doing this remote broadcast, we still do have the players call in from the team houses and do an interview that will be eventually translated by G-Sun, of course, but we will see, you know, damage, player of the game, and all that fun stuff first. Well, let you know when we are going to head to that. As I'm really looking forward to hearing from KT how they felt about the break. Maybe we'll see them get asked that. And taking a look at some highlights first. This was Soan, I think, expecting himself to hit 6 sooner than he did because of the way that he went for the combo onto Nuguri. I think he intended to get World Ender and then chase him down even if Nuguri flashed. Nuguri wouldn't be able to get away without dinging 6 himself, and so nonetheless, Nuguri ended up going back in and really just brought his own death upon himself. So here inside of this replay, this was really disastrous as well. Showmaker barely missing out on a kill right there. Kuro also living by the skin of his teeth as Nuguri is not able to find anything. This is a pretty good argument against Olaf if you can ever find one. Champion does not really do a whole lot, but it did not really matter. DAMWON really eager to lose the game as they funneled in right there. They just had no damage.
Look at Trundle in this fight. Like, where's he going?
Trundle,
like, what is he doing there?
He is really mad.
It's so hard because they force the fight to funnel into the jungle. Of course he's not going to be able to do anything up against a Rumble who lays down the equalizer to cut off the path.
Yeah.
So both of the, you know, you were talking about Olaf, but I feel like both of the junglers in this game were just like, it's like they didn't even exist. It felt like a 4-on-4 in this game, to be completely honest. As, of course, Bono was able to do a little bit more as the game came along, but that was more so because they were so far ahead as a team. And, yeah, at this point, KT, it looked like perhaps Kuro had overstepped his boundaries here. Of course, going up against Ornn at any time, you're overstepping your boundaries.
The other thing for KT, though, is they rolled the best dragons arguably that they could have as well. And so that helped them out quite a lot. Having Mountain Soul against this DAMWON team composition is just so glorious, because when all of the pressure is put onto Nuclear to carry this game, and Nuclear is so far behind coming out of the laning phase, it really just spells doom for DAMWON.
Yep, DWG came in once again.
The new Doom just came out. I don't know what.
It did. Doom Eternal.
Doom. Yeah.
I think it's for everything. It's like for PC, for everything else. I don't own anything else. I don't actually know what version of PlayStation we're on anymore.
Soon the PS5.
I've crossed into the boomer territory at this point. But yeah, I might pick that one up. We'll see.
Well,
yeah. So it was a 2-1 at the end of the day. The draft from KT in game number 2, I'm sure they want to try to erase that from their memories. Other than that game 2, they've been extremely solid, and they've been just defeating team after team after team. And I think they're on a 6-game winning streak or a 5-game winning streak at this point. It's been really impressive stuff from KT.
Yeah, and KT, again, we mentioned it just a second ago, second win for them here in the LCK. They've made it to the west side of the standing. That is not somewhere this team has been in a very long time. And it's so impressive to see them come together to claw their way back off of opening the season, I believe, 0-5, right?
Yeah.
So now they're on a 5-game win streak, and the mental fortitude needed to do that, to persevere and keep seemingly getting better, is really nice. They do still seemingly have some issues inside of the draft, as well as some things that they do inside of the game, but overall they look a lot more stable than any of the middle of the pack teams.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the thing about consistency when you, and especially recency bias in our brains, where it's like, if you just keep on winning, and you've only been winning for the last couple of games, it feels better than a team that's, 1-1, lost 1, 1-1, lost 1, and has been kind of wishy-washy and inconsistent. So, absolutely. I mean, KT is on a big roll, and that deserves to be highly celebrated for sure. As I think we're going to get the player of the game here in just a moment. Thanks for sticking with us, guys, with all of the wild ups and downs of the remote broadcast of the LCK. We're trying to do our best and bring you guys the games while the coronavirus is going around the world, hopefully to eventually stop so we can get back into the studio and have a good time over there.
And apparently have good mic quality, as
yeah.
Don't totally
speak for yourself.
Yeah, listen, Valdez, slow down. Okay, I listened to yours too. Does not sound like how I hear you. So something's going on.
Okay.
Hopefully we get it fixed at some point. But nonetheless, not really quite sure how long we'll be out of the studio at the current time. Online, obviously, is the measurement being taken just to have more safety with Corona still existing here in Korea. Korea has been doing a phenomenal job, though.
Yeah, Korea is one of the nations that is actually leveled off. There's a website that has all the graphs.
Yeah,
of,
worldometers.
Yeah, if you go to that, you can see that it's really leveled off, which is really the important thing. It allows all the hospitals time to, treat all the affected with 100% capacity, rather than being overwhelmed by too many victims, of course. So definitely good news here for Korea. But we'll have to wait and see how that does flesh itself out. But either way, guys, we do have the POG. Oh no, we have to wait a minute more. As I wonder what could be the hold-up about the player of the game. It felt pretty obvious to me, but for you, it was not, as actually you were correct this time around. Soan was able to pick up his first player of the game on the Aatrox.
Yeah. Valdez over here, a bit of a sinner, did vote for Kuro.
I did.
I'm just gonna out you right there. Now take a look at this. Just watch the third Q. Well, actually, no. You know what? We can't even give him the argument on that one to say that maybe he was intending to both hit a Kali and a minion and get 6, and then immediately World Ender into dogging her down, but definitely his Aatrox did a lot this game. Even if that first blood was handed to him by Nuguri, he never let it slip away, and I think his itemization and just overall control in a lot of the team fights was also very on point, so very nice performance out of him.
For sure. He did a great job of frontlining, and in my mind there were only really 2 possibilities. You guys can't see it, but there were 5 out of 9 votes for top lane for Solan, and then 4 out of 9 for Kuro in the mid lane. So a really close vote. I suppose that's why there was a big hold up after all. But guys, we do have the interview. I'm going to hand it over to Ji-sun for the translation.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Jason with the interview translation, and we're having another remote one, hearing from Sohan and aiming from KT Rolster and their team house.
저희가 4연 하다가
So
이제
we
분위기가 막
were
좋게 연승
losing 4
잘하다가
games in a row,
대회가
and then
잠깐
we were back on a
중단돼서
winning
좀
streak.
아쉬웠는데
So it was a big
2라운드
shame that
때도 그
we
분위기
had to
이어갈 수
stop
있게 잘
LCK.
이긴 것 같아서
But we were able to get back on the roll, so I'm really happy. And Sohan, you could hear your teammates going wild after you got that solo kill. So what was exactly going on at that moment?
일단
Well,
이겨서 좋고요.
I'm happy that we got the win.
네.
저희가
네.
좋은 의미로 숙소에서 뭐 랜선 소환
Yeah, I'm just happy. And especially people were talking about that you are actually improving when you are playing at your gaming house.
숙소 KT 숙소에서 나옵니까? 거기 양재동 거기서 나옵니까?
So, are you feeling a lot better in your gaming house? It's not that because I was playing at our facility. I don't really think so. I mean, but at the same time, it is indeed different. But at the same time,
나아진 것 같긴 한데
I feel like I did improve.
1세트. 와, 우리
So let's go back to game number 1. Aiming on Kalista.
무호흡 점프를 계속
And
본인 오늘 키키고
Cloud Templar was really amazed by your play.
그때
So do you remember that moment when you just went in for 2v1 and got both kills? Were you confident at that moment, or were you a bit scared seeing 2 enemies surrounding you?
저는 항상 1대 4수에
Well, I am always ready for 1v lot of numbers getting outnumbered, so I'm always confident. 2v1 is okay for me.
1대 다 익숙하니까. 예, 진짜 대단한. 예. 역시 또 이렇게 새로운 딜링 머신 또 이렇게 그 칼리스타로 좋은 모습 보여줬으니까. 예. 이 경기를 패배했을 때
After losing that game number 2, how did the players feel? How was the atmosphere in KT Rolster?
분위기가 나쁘지
It wasn't really that bad.
말하고
But, you know, we tried to figure out what to play in game number 3 and things like that. I think we're having a bit of a bad reception here, but do you guys hear us clearly over there? Yeah, it's all okay here.
그렇죠. 그래서 어쨌든 KT 이제 서부에
The KT Rolster, you guys finally joined the West.
더 치고 올라가야 될 텐데 좀 자신 있으세요? 지금 연승이.
Are you guys feeling confident? I mean, you guys are on a big roll right now.
저희가 아마 연승이 깨지지
Well,
않을 것 같으나
자신 있다.
I mean, we are confident. So we are having a bit of a bad reception coming from the KT side. So for the last question, any last message regarding the rest of the round, second round robin?
저 숙소라서
Well, I just wanna
저희 팀원
say that
제가 팀원
I'm just happy that all of my teammates were doing a great work.
잘해주기 때문에 계속 이런 좋은 모습 보여주고
앞으로 더 발전할 거다.
예, 잘 모습을 보여줄 수 있을 것 같다. 그렇습니다.
So sorry about the bad reception for this interview, and this will be the end of the interview coming from someone aiming from their team house, and I'm gonna pass it back to our global casters. Thank you.
오늘은 완전 이제 바로 옆에 회식할 수 있는 곳.
Yep. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's me, Lone Soldier.
No, we're back. Yeah. Thank you, G-Sun, as always, once again for the wonderful translation. As well, we got there's the standings back again. Hopefully, you guys can see them. KT with that win are going to move over to the west side of the bracket. Definitely a big moment for them as they've won 5 games in a row. They overcome DAMWON in the series and also on the bracket. So they're currently in 5th, DAMWON in 6th. And definitely a nice little feat for them to pull off.
Yeah, and DAMWON, I mean, even when thinking about their matchups against APK, Sandbox, and Hama Life, it's hard to really say that they're even favorites against those teams, and that's what's really scary about their current form. And that's what makes it so uncomfortable if you are a DAMWON fan, because things are... I mean, we're getting into the last couple of matches that any of these teams are going to get. All of these matches are so important now, and DAMWON is really looking like they could fall out of playoff contention.
Yeah, that's the thing that we were talking about before. You know, you got to be careful. Second half of the split. There's not all that much time left. Only 8 more matches for DAMWON to try to get a bit of a better record. Generally, you want to get to, you know, at max, you want to have 9 series losses, and then you would have 9 series wins, and maybe you can make it into the playoffs like that. So they really do not have many more left to go. But guys, our next matchup is going to be Hanwha Life up against Dragon X. And this one, we are going to have a little bit of a longer break, just about a half hour. So set your timers. We're going to be back after about a half hour for this next one, as it looks like we are getting ready to close this one out. And yes, guys, we do have 3 series per day for a bit here. So make sure you're continuing to tune in. And it will just be the 30 minutes until we do come back with that next series, as it looks like we're going to go to that break right now, guys. We will see you after 30 minutes.